Fanatically Correct. Brought to you by us, fans like you, but mostly us.
Would it be acceptable to wear one pauldron of the Night Owl and another with the Mythosaur?
The Mythosaur belongs to all Mandalorians. It is always acceptable to wear.
I would like that.
In a dark corner of the world, three men will work together to bring you a podcast like no other. This is Fanatically Correct, where the fans, the geeks, and the nerds are always correct. With your host, M.S.K, Yo Peace, and Omega.
Fighter Fest Season 5.
All right, so we're gonna this episode. We're just gonna force.
I'm getting better with my Fs. Getting better with my F.
We're gonna force Yopis to catch up on Mando for this episode. Is that what's gonna happen?
You know what I like talking about Mando is that it's not the letter F, it's the letter M. And M, I'm good.
Mando. Check out our Instagram so you'll understand why I'm talking about problems with the letter F. Freaking Mando. There's no character in this that has an F. Well,
speaking of letter F, this is Fanatically Correct. I'm your host, Omega.
M.S.K.
And Yo Peace is not with us tonight on this one, so this will be an M.S.K episode. Yeah, Omega works. I gotta see how we can get Osega. This is terrible. Not going to be the name of the episode.
Nope, at all.
Yeah, I think the easiest thing we'll do is we'll talk Mando. We're actually at the midpoint of the season.
We won't say what season, just in case this episode doesn't air on time.
Season 4. And it's like, oh, wow, it's season 4 mid, and they're talking about season 3. That's going to make plenty of sense.
Yeah. Bait and switch is what's going to happen.
So, yeah, no, season 3 of The Mandalorian. We're 4 episodes deep. We got the next episode coming out on the 29th of March, episode 5. I like that on IMDb, they don't yet give you even the name of the episode.
I like that. That way they don't spoil anything.
You don't spoil it for yourself. That's pretty cool. That's pretty clever.
Yeah, but I'm digging the season so far, man. What do you think about it?
I love it. I'm digging it. I'm really enjoying it. I'm getting some mixed signals. I think a lot of people out there just getting used to crapping on everything, but
yeah,
I'm enjoying it. A side note before we get deep into this, I gotta say, man, wait till you get into season 3 of Picard, my man. Wait until you get into season 3.
I gotta jump on that.
Wow, it is so.
I took a break from season 2 of Picard because it started getting a little. It's hard, man. The time travel stuff.
I'm telling you, I'm gonna keep saying it. I don't think season 2 was originally planned. I think someone came up with a decent idea for a middle season to make it 3 seasons long. I think they originally planned for this to be 2 seasons because when you see this season, the way it just flows perfectly from like others. If you skip season 2 and jump straight into season 3, it works. It works. You might just have some questions about, some characters, that their storyline is set up differently in season 2. So, they might not be as, I'm only midway through season 3 right now. They're still airing it live right now. So I don't know, what the storyline will be with other characters that you might or might not see. But if you dive from one to the other, it just flows better. Like you can really feel it was.
I got to push through. I'm already halfway through season 2. So
it has things in it that are awesome. I mean, there's stuff. I'm just only spoiler the Borg. The Borg is always a good thing. They never miss when the Borg is involved in any series of Star Trek. Of the Next Generation era, DS9, Voyager, any of them. When they do the Borg, it's just it's a whole.
Yeah, it's always good. Yeah.
So, so Mandalorian, that's what this, the other Star, titled franchise, Star Wars, away from Star Trek. Yeah, man. So we got 4 episodes so far, seasons 1 and 2 and season 2.5, which was what, like 2.5 episodes of Boba Fett.
Yeah, it was 2.5 episodes and it was the best 2 episodes of that season, that series.
So now I think, what a lot of people might not know, I didn't know this right away, what the time jump was more or less between season 2, Book of Boba Fett, and season 3. So from what I understand, and that makes sense as we go, and again, spoiler alert, we're going to spoil this. We're talking midway point. If you're not caught up in the Mandalorian episodes 1 through 4, turn off the podcast.
Yeah, that means you, Yopis. That means you. So
Yopis, catch up, and then we'll talk.
And then go back.
And then listen to us, ruined this show with terrible commentary, but
it's gonna be great.
But yeah, so apparently Grogu trained under Luke for 2 years. Was that time gap?
That's what I heard.
So that explains, because we have in the most recent episode, there's some more skills that Grogu displays, and he did have some of that training, and we did see some of that in Book of Boba Fett in that episode where he goes back and gets up with Luke and getting him, but we didn't know how much time had passed. So from what I understand, it's been accurate that was 2 years then, and it looks like it's been another 2 years since then. So it's like almost like a 3 to 4 year total. 3 to 4 year jump. Which makes sense with the Bo-Katan.
They didn't really explain that though. They should have put like a text in the bottom or something. I don't know. They really didn't say anything. Yeah,
because it makes sense. Because look at Bo-Katan's situation where her Mandalorian followers that she had already left her when he comes across her in episode 2, right? Or is that episode 2? Yeah, in episode 2 when he comes across Bo-Katan. At the end of episode 2, end of episode 1.
End of episode 1, when he goes to visit her, she's already all these people already left me.
Yeah, she's on her on her throne, her lonely Conan the Barbarian throne, with her robot butler Alfred.
Yeah, she's man, Bo-Katan is awesome. I really like what they're doing with her character this season.
It is smart, but unfortunately, like I said on our Instagram posting, and now I'll give this conspiracy theory for the podcast, which is I knew the moment he sank to the bottom of the waters in episode 2 and she dove in after him, and I went, oh, Disney's gonna save some money on this actress.
Yeah, I didn't think about that, man, and I actually was surprised because when she got back to where all the Mandalorians are, they said that she was redeemed, and I was like, oh yeah, she did go all the way into the water.
She bathed in the waters, and then to boot, she hadn't removed her helmet since, and that's when I knew it too. It's like, why isn't she taking? And unfortunately for the story, it's like, why isn't she taking her helmet off? As a viewer and understanding the situation with paying a cast member, I understood what was going on. I'm like, oh, she's gonna join the way, and join this faction, of the Mandalorians, and now this actress is gonna have a lot less screen time. She'll do plenty of audio work, but she's gonna have less helmet off time.
Well, apparently she was. I mean, I don't know how much she did, but she was in some scenes with the helmet on. So, but I thought she did all the stunt scenes.
Yeah, I'm kind of guessing at that. It is possible she's a more active actress. And I know there was rumors about Pascal was concerned with that. I think he's not now with all the other work that he's been getting, especially now that he blew up from Last of Us and everything. I mean, he blew up before that, but Last of Us definitely helped. It frees him up to do a lot more projects and still be a major, part of, the making of Mandalorian.
Yeah.
But for her, I don't know. She might be willing to be, in the suit with the helmet on. But I just feel that probably not.
I don't know, man. Yeah, we'll see. I really, what I like about her is that she's the original voice. From the Clone Wars.
So there's no change from that of the voice and the actors, because obviously Rosario Dawson's not the original Ahsoka from the animated series, but she was perfect. I mean, they literally casted someone, which they normally do for the video games. Like when you look at what is it, Starkiller, the apprentice for Darth Vader, and even the new one now, that Jedi Survivor or whatever, these actors, just like Last of Us, it's the mocap, so they're doing it the same way they do the, Mark Ruffalo's and all the other Incredible Hulks, that their features are their features. So these actors look like the characters from the video games. It makes complete sense. They can literally, pluck them out of the video game and put them in the series with no issues. But these, animated actors, they're just doing voice work. The character looks however the character looks. Right. So it just works out that, and she kind of looks, more or less.
No, it works out that she could play her, because some voice actors can't play what they're portraying on the video game or in animation. What's his name? Troy Baker, the guy that was in the voice for The Last of Us.
Yeah.
He was in actual episodes of The Last of Us as a cameo. He was David's second hand guy. So
yeah, and then
that worked out.
And then the mom played Ellie played the mom.
Yeah, exactly. She played them, which I mean, it fits perfectly. I thought that was actually her mother. They look similar.
I thought it was her sister or something. I wasn't sure, but then it makes sense because they purposely casted this actress from Game of Thrones to play her because she looks like her.
Ramsey. Yeah.
But she's, much older now. She's aged from, since she did the motion capture for the games. So they obviously, then now by casting her as the mother, they look so much alike. It's, it's really the other way around. They actually casted, this actress to look like the one from the game, but to us it's like they casted someone to play her mother that looked a lot like her.
Right.
So I know it worked out perfectly. I looked to see if they were related. I immediately was being like, oh my god, they could be sisters or mother and daughter or something.
They did a really good job. Yeah,
it came out really good.
That's good casting. But we got to talk about the casting of this episode of Mandalorian.
The most recent episode 4. Okay,
episode 4.
We'll glimpse over 3.
Yeah,
because 3 had some cool stuff in it, especially in the beginning when they bombed her, Bo-Katan's castle and all that, and sent her on their way to the waters, and that's how episode 3 is what ends to set up episode 4, which is Bo-Katan now being part of this faction, part of the Creed and all that. But because it does connect now to what we're going to get into in episode 4 with the whole flashback scene with Grogu.
I got theories for that. So this is going to be fun.
So the cloning situation now is hitting heavy. So it looks like they're really going to, reestablish the beginning and the seeds laid out for the clone of Palpatine and all the Snokes, which are, I guess, the formed clone versions of Palpatine and all that. But I'm curious where they're going with the whole concept of the two, the clone being made from 2 different sets of DNA. Because
I'm guessing I remember in the other seasons Grogu was very they were gonna test it. He's the only one that could I have to look back, but do you remember that his DNA was the only one that could I don't know, they could keep cloning from his DNA or something like that. I gotta double check that.
Because his species, the whole metachlorian thing,
it was high. The metachlorian count was high.
Their species is naturally like that, so that you had Yoda, and then they added that female Yoda, that they in was it episode 1 or episode 2?
Yaddle, I think her name is. I can't
remember her name now, but. So, and I wonder, how did she, I don't remember now, how did she talk? Did she talk like Yoda or did she talk normal? Or did she talk at all?
She talked like Yoda. She talked
like Yoda.
Yeah.
So it's going to be weird. That's the one thing, they're going to, we'll get into that because I know that's your theory. So I'll let you share it first and then I'll get more to details in it. But I just wanted to brush over that because I know it felt like a deterioration, but I'm just like, what's your take? Do you think she's like the beginnings of the New Order?
Of who's the beginning of the lady that was with the doctor, the Penn Pershing?
In episode 3, in other words, the one that was with on what's his name?
With Pershing, the doctor.
She was under what's his name? Gustavo Franz. He's always going to be Gustavo to me from Breaking
Bad. I forgot his name, man. We're really bad with names.
This is terrible.
But she was with Dr. Pershing. He was under his man. What's her Moff Gideon. She was under Moff Gideon.
She was under Moff Gideon.
And so was he. He was under his command as well. Yeah. But they didn't know each other while they were in his command. Yeah.
As a matter of fact, and they booked down out of nowhere because she was listed as comms officer.
Right.
In season 2 when they brought her in. And then in this season, she has her name, which is because the doctor is so now she's Elia Kane.
That's her name.
Elliot, that's the character. And he's Dr. Penn Pershing.
Penn Pershing, yeah. So I'm guessing Penn Pershing is gonna bring back the whole thing of the cloning. Well, she's gonna bring back the whole thing of the cloning because what happened to him, and that's gonna lead to pretty much. Hopefully, what's gonna happen is it's gonna fix any mistake made by this the Rise of Skywalker.
In other words, Favreau's gonna do the Rogue One.
yeah, he's gonna fix Rise of Skywalker, and they're gonna bring back the cloning, and we're gonna find out how Palpatine was cloned and all the Snokes and all that. So that's pretty cool.
So we could jump into episode 4. So let's jump into the flashback scene, because I know that's what you're wanting to go, because it feeds off of this, because this is where all the theorizing is going to lead from, of the backstory of Grogu, and then a future time jump of Grogu.
Yeah, I mean the flashback shows how Grogu was rescued.
Yeah, which is wild. Who rescued him? You know, it's Misa gonna save you now.
It was Jar Jar Binks. It was and Yopis, if you're listening to this before you watch the episode, it really was Jar Jar Binks.
It was Jar Jar Binks.
Jar Jar saved him. And it was actually pretty awesome.
Jar Jar's the funk, man. He really
Jar Jar.
So you might want to stop listening now, Yo Piece, and go see it for yourself before we get into more details. So it was the actor that played Jar Jar.
Ahmed Best, who played Jar Jar, came out and saved Grogu. His character is Kilrin Beck.
Yeah, and it's wild because I watched it. They had that. Disney Plus, right? The tournament, not tournament, but
it was like a game show,
show for kids, or Star Wars, and he was the host. And he was dressed as a Jedi and everything, which it's kind of hokey. It was a kids.
It's for the kids. That's for the kids
type show. So I was impressed. He did a good role, good part. Yeah. We got a new character, so they don't have to mess up any more of the canon. Trying to make other characters be there. I think it was a good casting.
I thought he was great. I thought he was really good, and it kind of redeemed him. I mean, listen, no one liked the character of Jar Jar, but he did his role. What the director wanted, what George Lucas wanted to do. So it wasn't his fault that the character sucked, And I know he was getting a bunch of hate for that. So it's pretty cool to see an actor get redeemed by playing a badass Jedi that saves the main character of The Mandalorian.
And then he did the double yielding. He broke up the second lightsaber.
It was
from the fallen comrade. Thank you very much.
It was cool, man. The whole scene was great.
Awesome.
Yeah, because
it was a dope scene. Yeah, no,
and then it was a chase. Sure. It ended up being a chase scene. That's what ended up.
The whole time. Okay, so I mean, were you thinking Anakin when at the very beginning when they showed the door getting burnt open?
No, I didn't think Anakin was going to show up on this. They're saying
that was the going theory that they're going to have a moment with Anakin, but it would have destroyed the canon, because if he would have gone after him, you know what I mean?
Right, he would have killed him. Yeah,
or at least they would have known about him, and there would have been a much this back behind the scenes story that didn't take place that after Return of the Jedi wouldn't have worked out with Vader and the Emperor knowing that there was a baby Yoda out there, basically.
I thought it would be like Bail Organa or someone to that effect that would save Grogu. I didn't think it was going to be Anakin. He's supposed to be in the Ahsoka series coming up also.
Now, you think he's for sure just a member of Yoda's species, or do you think there'll be something uncovered where he's actually a clone of Yoda?
Man, that would be really interesting if he's a clone of Yoda.
He's 50 years old in the beginning of The Mandalorian, which puts him... How old was Vader? How many years had passed between when Anakin killed all the younglings and...
Well, 18 years. Luke is 18 in New Hope.
That's right. So it's
18.
And
then, Anakin was early 20s?
So 50. So doing the math, he was already...
he would have been 40. He would be 40. He would be
like
in his
20-something years old. Okay, now how long were they cloning the clones for the... who was it? Darth Tyrannus, when he was doing it under a Jedi, when he was making that clone army off of Jango Fett. How long do you think they've been at it? So the thing is, there is the possibility for them to work out, but he was at the Jedi Temple. There's no way Yoda would have been okay with but maybe, who knows? Maybe
they probably would have stolen his DNA or
that's what I'm saying. But he was in the Jedi Temple being trained as a youngling. But they were specifically protecting him. He wasn't with the other younglings.
No.
That's
something special about Grogu. Yeah, exactly. Something special about
him. That's the whole thing with that. So they're putting in the storyline that he is some type of secret thing that the Jedis had going on with the younglings. So obviously it's going to be something that even Obi-Wan didn't know about. So I don't know. Maybe it's something that's possible that Yoda didn't know about, and maybe that would be the connection, that something was going on with even Mace Windu or something, where they had this youngling or clone of Yoda's species or Yoda himself that they had in a separate area. But when they were attacking the temple, they were attacking all parts of the temple, so they had to get out of there. But yeah, that's why they're on a separate side of it, and they got the Naboo connection with. He left on the Naboo ship once he was able to cycle through and get to the platform.
Yeah, I'll get to that in a second. But maybe Grogu being, maybe they were protecting him just because he's like the Yoda species. They don't know much about. It was only him and Yaddle. I think her name is Yaddle.
Yeah.
And that's it. We've never seen anyone else from his species. We don't know much about his species. So maybe they're just protecting Grogu because he's the third one, you know?
Yeah. And it's even possible for Grogu to be Yoda's offspring, but again, like I don't know, man. They gotta. I think Favreau and company, they're gonna do this right. So I want to see how they're gonna fit this into.
It'd be
canon.
Interesting if he's a Yoda clone. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm almost leaning to, and that's why he was able to be, his DNA used for cloning.
Yeah. All right. So theory time. There's two theories here. I'm sure other people have talked about this. By the time this airs, people have probably. I mean, some of these theories are crazy, but
yeah,
there was a Naboo ship that Jar 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 went to. Kelleran Beck saved Grogu and put him in a Naboo ship, and they left. Whose ship is that? Right?
Yeah.
My theory, number one, it could probably actually be Jar Jar that saves him. And then we see Jar Jar and Adam Best. Adam Best is basically playing Jar Jar and Kelleran Beck, right? And you see both of them just hanging out, and they save Grogu. And we see the return of Jar Jar.
I don't think Favreau's going to do that.
I don't know, man. Why would there be a Naboo ship? Why would there be a Naboo ship there?
I don't know.
Unless that Jedi is from Naboo.
Yeah. Well,
maybe.
No. That's possible, but no, because that doesn't make sense, because they didn't have Jedi before when Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan came to.
Well, yeah.
Oh, but this is later. That's right. This is later.
This is later. Yeah. This is later.
Right. This is already when Anakin was turning to the dark side.
Yeah.
Huh. See, and then Palpatine's no longer, now he's the Emperor, so he no longer has anyone to save him. You know what I mean? He's already the Emperor. He's already taken over. That's what all that attack on the Jedi Temple was about.
Well, at this very moment, he became the Emperor. Like,
yeah,
right
so it's
now,
not going to be Palpatine.
Yeah, at this very moment, he's fighting Mace Windu. Like, Mace Windu is flying off a building somewhere, and at the same time as Kelleran Beck is saving Grogu.
And between here and there, he got captured. You know what I mean? So it's not gonna. Yeah.
But it could still be Palpatine because he is from Naboo. He still has, people working for him. So maybe he sent out a ship, still pretending to be Palpatine. Hey, go get Grogu.
And the only reason Jar Jar also makes sense is because obviously whoever was in charge of his rescue screwed up. Because that's how we get the series of The Mandalorian episode 1. Is that baby's already being held by a bunch of captors, and there's a bounty on him. So. Yeah, it is going to be something competent.
I really don't think it's going to be Jar Jar. But, I mean, can you imagine if it was Jar Jar and Kelleran Beck in one scene?
No,
it would be great.
I think they're going to keep bringing us more characters. They'll have the Naboo tie. They might do something and take a character, one of those type of situations where they had a speaking role. And, because did that with Andor. You know what I mean? You had characters from Rogue One that they brought all the way back to the beginning of Andor that had smaller roles. Yeah. And so they might be going that same route. They might take someone that actually is from one of the movies, episodes 1 through 3, that is from Naboo, that probably just had a very small part that now is going to have a larger part. So we'll see. I mean, I'm very interested to see how they work that out. But
I mean, there has to be something other than just Beck saving him. There has to be more to that.
No, there's more to the flashback. We got a whole you said it. We have like a 20-something year gap there.
Yeah,
20 to 30 year gap.
Probably 30. Because by the time Return of the Jedi, Luke is what, in his mid-20s or late 20s?
So there's a whole, and at that time he was being hidden from, obviously it would be the Emperor at that time,
right? Yeah, he's being hidden. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I really dug the flashback, and I'm surprised they even showed that part so early on we're kind of in the midway point. So
yeah, exactly. That's which means there's going to be a payoff at the end. And now we got to see is like so end of season 1, we kept it very close with just Mandalorian, but the whole scene with the robot blowing itself up, which that's going to come back still. They're not done with that robot.
Oh, no, for sure. And I'm glad, because I really wanted that robot to survive.
That robot was dope. So, but that was that final episode where all the Mandalorians helped them out, and they had to move and leave the planet and go astray. That great season finale. Season 2 raised the bar with their season finale of Luke.
Yes,
and making all that happen with Mos getting Luke and Bo-Katan and Boba Fett and Ahsoka, and it was so much happened last season building up to this that they're gonna have to do something big this season finale.
I mean, they're either gonna bring Luke back or maybe we'll see. I don't know. I know.
I'm curious to where they're gonna go with it, but the whole Mandalorian storyline now with Bo-Katan and I tell you, something's gonna come with that. There's so many, and with only 4 episodes left, they've only in 4 episodes planted already so many seeds that now we want to see get paid off in the next 4 episodes, because that whole the what's it called, that sea monster that's that's their crest, and the Mandalorian that she saw, that was it alive? It opened its eye, right?
It opened its eye. Yeah.
It opened its eyes. So it's alive. That's going to play into something. It is kind of funny, though, because they're like, oh, it's like a mythical creature. It's like your Star Wars. Half the creatures you just shot at in that episode look like mythical creatures. Why would you be so surprised with this big, you know what I mean? Dragon type monster in your oceans. Once.
Yeah, the Mythosaur. The Mythosaur.
Yeah, that's what it's called. So it's how do you not, believe that something like that exists when you literally just, had to rescue a youngling from that giant pterodactyl thing.
It's funny because Bo-Katan is talking to the armor, and she's like, oh, what would you say if I saw it or whatever? And she's like, oh, we all see things. She saw it. She was saying it as if she saw a vision, and she's like, no, I actually saw it.
I saw the thing. The thing is real. Yeah,
it's there. Open his eyes and it's there. Yeah. I'm suspecting this whole new Mandalore clan or whatever. Yeah. They're gonna go back to Mandalore. They're gonna defeat it. They're gonna defeat it.
Do you think she ends up with are the rule? Because the rules are still the rules. She'd have to beat Mando in combat to get the dark saber back.
Yeah, she
yields it way better than he does. Obviously,
for sure, he's more terrible.
Experience
He's
in practice. But it's she won't just take it from him, accept it, they have I wonder how they're gonna fit that in. But do you think she ends up back with it? What would put you?
No, I think she does. She has to, because it's her whole legacy. That's her thing
to lead the Mandalorians.
Yeah, I think eventually Bo-Katan will take power again and fix up Mandalore, and they have to do something with her.
Just so the New Order can destroy her planet again.
Yeah, exactly.
With the new Death Star.
I don't know how they're gonna give her I don't know how they're gonna give her the saber, the dark saber, but she's gonna end up getting it again for sure.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I mean, I think that was too much of a foreshadow when she picked it up to save him. Yeah, in episode 2.
No, and she was great, man. Mando was he was stuck.
Yeah, they're building her up. They're building her up.
Yeah.
But so we got Grogu got himself a little chest plate. Speaking of
after he fought little Ragnar. Did you catch up on that name? Did you catch that name?
Yeah, that was Ragnar Lothbrok.
That's it was awesome. Ragnar. The little kid's name was Ragnar that he fought.
He's my son. Was he the same one that got kidnapped by
He's the same one. Yes, he's the same one.
Everything happens to the same kid. That giant pterodactyl thing. That was wild. And then the scene with that she got to take her helmet off again. Okay, we'll give you a couple more scenes before we completely write your face out of the series.
Yeah, for sure. Disney, man, the whole scene. First of all, I don't know why they're shooting like that video that you sent me.
Yeah,
it was a parody. It was a joke video, but why are they just shooting into the ocean? Like, what's the point of that?
They're practicing.
That whole scene. Listen, that whole scene is pointless, but it's just showing off how Disney's gonna cash in on all these different helmets.
Oh yeah,
and all these different color helmets.
Every single Mando, every single. The best joke in that video is how much Vespar they're gonna need to cover his ears.
Yeah, that is funny. That is funny. No, man, I saw that scene and I was like, Disney is like gonna make cheap helmets, sell it at the parks for hundreds of dollars.
We saw helmets and darts,
helmets and darts,
and hand darts, hand dart guns, or whatever.
I mean, why is that scene even there? But yeah, that's why it's there.
Why?
Yeah, because they need to make money.
Those
that's
are
why.
hitting the shelves this Christmas, man. That's it. Paintball's taking on a new animal. Mandalorian helmet, and a 3 dart shooting. You know what? We should check. That's probably already for sale.
No, for sure. I'm sure it is.
Probably already have it out.
I'm sure it is. But it was cool. It was cool seeing Grogu just destroy that kid because he was talking a lot of smack.
Yeah. He's got to do the jump thing, but it's like he's got to have a lightsaber, man. But I'm telling you, I feel, and I think we share the same theory, and this might be a spoiler for the entire series.
The entire series,
yeah, for the entire series. But it makes complete sense, and from a writing standpoint, it's like, yeah, of course this is where they're going with it. But the Mandalorian is not the Mandalorian that
it's not Din. Yeah, it's not Din Djarin. Yeah,
it's not Djarin. It's Grogu.
It's Grogu. It's gonna be
Mandalorian.
Grogu.
It's his story. It's his tale.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, it's like I really want to see that time jump when they end this series and show me a full-grown, badass Grogu, Mandalorian, Force-sensitive, dark saber yielding, bad mofo bounty hunter. Like,
it would have to be after Rise of Skywalker
and
for
he'll
him to
be
show
fine.
up.
He's only 50. Yoda was how old? Yoda was how old when he died? Like 900 or something.
Yeah.
So he'll be like what? Not even 100 years old yet. He'll be full grown, but he'll be young. He'll be like
Yoda was exactly 900 by the way when he died.
Oh, so there you go. So he's gonna be like a teenager. You know what I mean? He's gonna be like early 20s.
Yeah,
he'll
be 100. He would be 120-ish maybe. Yeah, and then it's still young.
Yeah, so he's like in his mid 20s for post Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah. So, but you know what? They haven't announced any new movies, and that's what's scaring me, man. I mean, there's no new movies.
That would be the movie.
I'm guessing if Favreau and Dave Filoni actually gets, if they get in charge of the movie franchise part of it. I think they would definitely use this character.
See, but now I don't know how deep into stuff Star Wars is going to get because we have the Ahsoka series, and we know they've already casted the actor who's going to play Ezra, which is the Rebels, right?
Rebels, yes.
And they already introduced time travel and deep space. And they recanoned that again when they showed it that he sees them. Those whale-like life forms that deep space travel, and Grogu saw them. You know what I mean? He could see them. Mandalorian can't. But yeah, so he sees Purgules. He's able to see them during flight, and I don't know. I'm curious where they're gonna go with that because, like I said, with the time jump and all that, are they going to involve time travel? Are they going to involve this, extremely speed? And how old is Ezra going to be? Has he aged? Has he maintained? It doesn't look like he's gotten much older based on who they casted to play him. So it's going to be interesting where they're going with this with Star Wars. All I know is if they start doing heavy time travel or any of that, it's going to piss off a lot of.
I don't think they'll do heavy because even the time travel that does happen in Rebels, it's not like a traditional time travel thing. It's kind of like
it was a spiritual. It was like a spiritual.
It's a spiritual thing. Yeah. It wasn't like
out. It wasn't technology yet, did it?
Exactly. He doesn't get in like in a machine or goes into hyperspace like Picard, for instance. It's not like that.
But then these life forms are able to like quickly travel through space even faster than hyperdrive.
Yeah.
So that's the whole thing is like, how far deep into space did he go? In other words, they have room to have almost like Voyager in Star Trek, since we just said, Star Trek a minute ago, where they could take their universe and put the storyline so much further out there and actually even get completely away from, you can have a moment where Rey pops up or something like that or whatever, but they could definitely do a Mandalorian film.
And then come back. Yeah.
Yeah. With a grown up Grogu, and the story takes place, a long time after, in a galaxy far away, you know what I mean? Or a galaxy even further away, from that galaxy situation. And that's what I'm looking forward to see, like new stuff. And I think, I don't know, I feel that that's where the split is. I think there's a lot of people that are happy to see the universe of Star Wars go into more directions and have more new characters and more story. But then, of course, there's the, those that want to continue the Skywalker connection based storyline and try to keep that feeding, which, obviously we don't have here, but we still have, the Obi-Wan series, and now we'll have, which takes place during the Mandalorian, the Ahsoka series, which directly connects. She was, his apprentice, his Padawan. So it's like, it's mixed on knowing where they're going to go, which is kind of a good thing.
They definitely tease that. And Ahsoka I think it comes out later this year. I'm not sure, but they should have already started filming.
It would be awesome if they kind of backed. We don't have too much of a wait between. Series.
And then Ezra should be a little bit older than Luke, I think, at this point. Not too much older, but around the same age.
Yeah, they haven't released an actual month date.
Oh, they say 2023?
2023 release, yeah.
Yeah.
So most likely we'll get, and that might be what they're holding off on. We might get a Luke moment or Ahsoka moment again in this season. So Anakin's going to be in it? Okay.
Yeah, Anakin's going to be in Ahsoka for sure.
Yeah. See, but that's the thing. It could be flashbacks, but that's
it could be a force. It could be a force ghost too.
That's a young Ezra. That's still, he's not.
Yeah,
he could pass for only like that's. So I'm curious to see what they're going to do. He's in his
30s. He's going to be in his 30s. That's what's going to happen.
So I'm curious to see what they're going to do with that, because he was like in his 20s, right, when he.
Yeah,
when
I think
happened.
Luke. Let's see, age. Oh wow, I was way off. Yeah, Luke is 23 by the end of Return of the Jedi. So
he's like 27 for Mandalorian. So he's also going to be like 30 by the time.
He's going to be late 20s, early 30s.
Now. Yeah, right now he's late 20s, early 30s.
Yeah,
is where he's at. So coming up, and see, this is where things are starting to line up. So now Grogu was his first attempt at training a youngling, and that gives him the confidence to go into what he's going to do now, which is his nephew.
Not the confidence, because
which he shouldn't have had the confidence for.
Yeah. I mean, I like that. I like that he not failed, but he didn't get to train Grogu.
He was able to give him just enough.
Yeah.
And the thing is, since he's already a force sensitive species, and has, these very natural abilities, which, remember, to an extent, they kind of really played with that already in The Force Awakens. You know what I mean? Rey had zero training, but because she had such a natural connection to the Force, she picked up that lightsaber and immediately.
Yeah, because she was a Palpatine. She was a.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the whole thing. So that. They left room for that even though it was only a couple years might have been enough. Yeah, not to be the greatest Jedi ever, but definitely to be the baddest Mandalorian
strong enough.
ever.
Right.
And then, of course, there's the whole, and they might get into that, the whole theory that there was a Mandalorian Jedi, and that's why they were able to, that's what, brought the Darksaber, and that's why they were able to coexist, prior to,
that is the history of the Darksaber. It was a Mandalorian Jedi, that built it, and I don't know if they're gonna keep that history, because that's from like the books and stuff. So how the books before Disney bought Star Wars, before they bought Lucasfilm, they had all these books full of like lore and everything. So they kind of used some of it and they get rid of some of it. They mismatch a lot of it.
Yeah, what they pretty much did, we know they took all the animation, made all of that canon, and then they're cherry picking things from the comic books and things like that, and video games as well. So, and the only cool thing about that is then when you're a Star Wars fan of all the other different medium, you're kind of sitting by waiting to see if one of your other things, like something I know everybody wants is like somehow for them to bring Starkiller into this universe. You know what I mean? And the actor's awesome. You know, we like him.
He's great. Well, he's already the voice of Darth Maul, so
exactly. But he's the voice of Darth Maul, but we got Ray Park for Darth Maul. You know what I mean? Right. The live who was the original. Now who did? But I was actually confused by something today. Ray Park didn't do the voice of Darth Maul.
No, it was another actor.
But in the Han Solo film, he did do his own voice.
No, they used the voice from the animated series. They basically dubbed Ray Park.
That's wild.
Yeah,
that's wild. So that's interesting. He's doubled it. I mean, he does also a lot of other mocap stuff and a lot of voiceover work as well. But he's a great actor. So to see an older Starkiller, I mean, that's something people would love to see. And now, but it's so new, I don't think they'll do it. But the Survivor one, unless that's something they're planning to do, have that crossover.
Yeah, Sam Witwer did the voice for in the Clone Wars, and I believe in he was in the Solo Story. So he basically dubbed Ray Park and did the voice.
Wow.
So
that's wild.
And he's great, man. He's a great actor.
He is. He's awesome. I'd love to see Stark because just the character in general is awesome. But I don't know if they'll make that canon because, well, he's a Sith Padawan is what it is because Ahsoka was his Jedi when he was a Jedi. She was his Padawan, and this was his Sith apprentice. That's why it's the apprentice. But that's another thing from that video. Apprentices are pretty universally used.
Yeah, it's a pretty universal. I mean, they have to find their own terminology. Yeah, it would be cool, man. It would be cool to see him as someone in this world, live action.
Yeah, they'll bring it. I mean, we're going to see what they're doing. So much stuff, but man, only 4 episodes left. That's what's wild. Like even with, and that's what's crazy about. They did so much in this in episode 4. And episodes 1 and 2 that even though they deviated for 70% of the episode in episode 3, it's like I feel like I already watched 8 episodes already.
Yeah, episode 3 was kind of it got into Boba Fett territory where it changed from Mando to another series. But it still worked because I felt the whole time that it's kind of fixing Rise of Skywalker for me. So as long as they keep doing that, then all right, let's see where this is headed.
They're diving deep into that. I really want to see where this is going because this is the founding blocks era. You know, the time of Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, and Rise of Skywalker. So we'll see where it goes. And I didn't hate those movies. I mean, it's that's a whole other.
That's a whole. I think we have to have that conversation on May 4th. That's what we gotta.
May the 4th be with you.
Yeah, what date is May 4th land on? I think that's a conversation.
Or Revenge of the Sith. Well, I know we got Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 comes out around that time. But when is May the 4th lands on a? We have to do something live or record beforehand, so it comes out in time.
We'll do it live. It's on Thursday.
A Thursday.
Yeah,
that is a Thursday, which means probably Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 comes out then.
We could do the Return of the 6th and do it on a Saturday.
Yeah, Return of the 5th.
Revenge of the 5th.
Revenge of the 5th. Yeah. Revenge of the 5th. So it's May the 4th be with you.
Yeah, we'll do Friday.
Day, Revenge of the 5th. So
we'll do Friday. We'll do a live thing for that because we haven't had that conversation of those 3 movies. And we'll just leave it at that. We'll wait for that. But they were entertaining. We'll just leave it at that.
Well, that's Well, now we'll see because it laid some groundwork for some good Disney Plus television.
Yeah, for sure, and we're gonna get more. We're gonna get more Disney Plus television. Man, Andor's so good.
Andor's incredible,
man.
Yeah, I can't wait till Yo Piece is coming because that's a deep dive. We gotta get Andor, into so much.
The thing is, Mandalorian it has the feel. It has the feeling of Star Wars. Like legit, I'm watching Mandalorian and I'm in the Star Wars world. Andor Andor is like HBO Game of Thrones territory.
It's actually, I honestly, as much of a deviation as Rogue One is from all the other Star Wars films, Andor feels even more of a deviation,
even more
from all of it.
Even more, yes,
because it's so in depth. Like Rogue One felt like, okay, this is Star Wars, but we're really presenting it in a different way.
Yeah,
where Andor is just like, we're just gonna use Star Wars to tell this
as a backdrop. It's pretty much what it is.
Dark, hardcore film about rebellion and war and civil war and politics and government and but in a way that not that Star Wars does it, not the way that Lucas would terribly do it. Like in a way that, like, dude, you can insert this story into
in a real world
rebellion era of our real world history of rebellions and stuff, because like in most rebellions, you take the American Revolutionary War, necessary, a good thing, but these are the type of things that happen in that war. You watch films like like the series Turn, which is an AMC series, which is incredible. It talks about the spies and things like that, and there was things that people did, and it's like, granted, you chose your sides, but these were your neighbors. These were people that you worked with, people you grew up with. These
friends
were
and family. Yeah,
these are friends and family, and not just that. These are your people. Or this is your country. This is your and here this is your universe. This is your world. And there is there's different takes on it of the oppressed and things like that. But then you have those that, in order to successfully build a rebellion, and I'll even go to like Peaky Blinders, and that's what's wild about it. It was like we just finished Peaky Blinders. Which went into that crazy direction by its final season, and then a couple months later we get Andor, and when you watch that, it's like you get that same vibe. So a series that's taking place in late 1930s, you know what I mean? England, and with the mafia and the syndicate and all that, you can literally get the same feel from a future out there Star Wars space travel series, and that's what I mean. Like, that is such a deviation of the tone of that series, and it's amazing because it's called Andor, but I really feel that Skarsgård's character story
it should be called Skarsgård. That's what it should
Skarsgård.
be called.
What's his character's name? Man, that family, dude, his son, his youngest son in John Wick 4. Man,
I heard, man, Bill Skarsgård. I heard he was really good.
They're such good actors, man. And Floki's like one of my favorite characters from Vikings. Eric from True Blood, who I just saw, that movie wasn't that great though. Infinity Pool, but I loved him in The Norseman. I love that Viking movie.
And then there's another one, right? There's an even younger one. After Bill, and there's a daughter, because the mother's an actress too. Yeah,
and there's a daughter as well, but I think she does like some local television stuff over there in Sweden or whatever.
Sweden, yeah,
because they're actual Vikings. But like, I'm sorry, I don't care. Obviously forget the Baldwins, but like any of these like actor families, like, you know what I mean? Like, well, the Hemsworth, what do you got? 3 there? Yeah, you got
they got 3. They're all pretty decent. They're all pretty good.
They're
pretty
decent,
good.
but they're not the Skarsgård.
There's not the Skarsgård. I think Skarsgård is
they're all incredible actors.
Unless we have some real chameleon old men
Gary Oldman kids, some Gary Oldman kids come around. But the Skarsgårds are like, it's insane, man. It's like how much talent in that family, but he's a show stealer.
Yeah, but it's funny that you brought up Peaky Blinders. There's supposed to be a movie actually with Damon Lindelof, the creator, one of the showrunners from Lost and The Watchmen and The Leftovers, and he was great. He's awesome. He dropped out of doing a Star Wars movie, and now they got the creator from Peaky Blinders, Stephen Knight, to do it.
Oh,
so. Yeah, that's gonna be more Andor-ish, I believe.
That's
if anything. Wild. Yeah.
So Stellan Skarsgård's character is Luthen Rao.
Yeah.
Rail? Luthen.
Luthen. Yeah.
But yeah, it's his story is actually, because Andor, we're getting what we expected. Someone, a rebel who has kind of a vengeance type storyline to him to have an extra hate for the oppression of the Empire. But Luthen's story is the guy who is the Empire.
Yeah.
He is, he's having to wear 2 masks and everything, but just like
it's exactly like Turn, actually, right? Isn't it? Like
it is
pretty much like
exactly like Turn, exactly. It was the main story of his handler,
you're right.
The spy's handler, and that's what it is. It's espionage and it's spies, but it's that dirty war dramatic version of it, not that sexy James Bond version of spies.
No, it's the legit spies.
The legit circumstantial, sacrificial. Good people are gonna die. In the name of liberty and rebellion storyline, and it's insane. And then you got Lawrence,
Diego Luna,
Forrest Whitaker. Forrest
Whitaker,
which is also from animation that they made canon for Rogue One, but he's in his setup with Andor as well, and so we're getting more from that character because the interaction between Luthen and him, and certain and the outcome and fate of other characters as well is like it's wild. It's wild. It's like you're like, well, you have to give here in order to get here, and you have to give here in order to get there, and then it's war.
That's another scene that's really great with Skarsgård and Forrest Whitaker when they're talking about sacrificing certain people, why they're doing. Man, I'm like, Andor is so good.
It's
Andor's
deep, man.
good.
It is so deep because that scene right there is like you're willing to kill thousands of people for one guy. And it's like it's not for one guy; it's for what that one guy can bring to the rebellion. And again, the wildest thing about all of that is that this story and how minute and almost inconsequential of a scenario it is, that it's just more backstory of this is all the things that it took to make that one moment happen where there was a faulty, purposely designed plan flaw in the Death Star so they would have an actual chance to win.
It's amazing.
It's wild.
It's amazing.
They just Andor's just like they took Rogue One and just made it this whole more complex situation, and then you're watching, and then Andy Serkis's character is insane, and then getting that version of things and it's like,
don't even talk about. Let's not even talk about. What's crazy is that people hate on everything Disney that ever since they bought Star Wars, and there's so many good things that's come out.
That right there alone
is like alone. Exactly.
Insane. As much as I love Mandalorian, I'm just. It's hard for me because Rogue One's my favorite Star Wars movie because it's not a Star Wars movie. It's a great movie, period. And it's the same thing with Andor. Andor is a series. It's a great series, period. Mandalorian is like the best Star Wars series. Now,
it's the best Star Wars. Yeah,
it's the first as well. And it's better as a series than a lot of the movies. Actually, I'll even say most of the movies, but Andor is just a whole different animal. That's Academy Award level.
That's HBO, man. And like I say HBO because HBO is the best at all those type of series.
Did Andor get anything for Golden Globes or any of that?
I don't think so.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't think so.
It's getting courtesies.
Maybe it wasn't in contention. Maybe they get it this year.
It's going to get all the courtesies. It has
to. But yeah, is that the necessity?
You know what? Andor is the necessity. How is it? You know what? How is it not a necessity?
But everyone knows about Andor. That can't be the necessity.
It was not a secret necessity.
Exactly. It's not.
It feels like you gotta watch Andor. You know what? I'll tell you why it's a necessity. Because even if Star Wars isn't your thing, you gotta watch Andor.
Yeah, I think so.
And because it's a prequel, you don't even have to see Rogue One to watch Andor. You'll appreciate it more because you know what's coming down the line for most of these characters, and you'll get a lot of the callbacks to certain characters that they bring back and stuff like that. But you just watch your show and watch a story that they're telling, you're going to be impressed, and you're going to like it whether you're a Star Wars fan or not.
You know what's crazy is that you could watch Andor, then watch Rogue One, and finish A New Hope, and that's it. Like, that could be its own franchise.
Yeah.
Because A New Hope, everyone, they win. The good guys win, and it's over.
It's done. That's true.
That's it. That's the three. That's
that is wild. That's your. Well, it's not really a trilogy because you have multiple seasons.
Right. But it's this. That's the whole story. That's the whole story.
You can watch Andor, Rogue One, and A New Hope.
Yeah, and that's it. And then don't watch anything else and be like, all right, that's a pretty good. That was a pretty good Star Wars franchise in its own. That's amazing, man.
That's wild. Wow. I don't know. I think I'll throw out there. I haven't started reading it. I picked up a couple issues though. They released The Last Ronin, The Lost Years.
Oh, okay.
So, I'm gonna recommend that. That's out now. The first 2 or 3.
Yeah, it's gonna get a video game too. It's gonna get a video game.
And but the video game is based on The Last Ronin, not The Lost Years.
Actual thing.
The Last Ronin, yeah. So that's that's actually that'd be.
They're saying it's
awesome.
going to be like God of War, which is going to be crazy.
Yeah. Well, you know what? That makes sense because it's one turtle yielding all the weapons and all the skills and all the. So that's actually that does really work. You know what I mean? It really does work for that.
It's perfect.
But that's a very dark storyline. A lot of villain situations. A lot of that'd be good. That'd be good. So that'd be pretty wild. But yeah, I'll throw that out there as something that maybe people haven't jumped on right now or aren't really into. I know there's Gargoyles issues as well too. I want to get in. They did a continuation of the Gargoyle story with comic books.
Oh, good. But what is it like? The original creators attached to it? Because
yes,
good. Because when you know, I don't know if you binged it, but when I binged Gargoyles was the first thing I binged on Disney Plus.
Same thing, and I watched it twice. I watched it twice. It's terrible.
Season 1 and half of season 2, it was perfect, and then it started going downhill when the creators left.
Well, the creators are attached to it, and they completely ignore the Disney run.
Oh, good.
So even though it's still owned by Disney and they had to get the rights from Disney to do it, it takes place as if those episodes didn't happen.
Perfect.
So I believe it's called with the Goliath Chronicles or whatever. It continues straight off of that, off of the either right after or before that. I know.
Because it really bugs me how Gargoyles turned out because it was perfect. Yeah. It was a perfect series.
Because I know it actually in the first issue, I remember something reading that it has a lot to do with the brother of, or what's her name, Elisa?
Okay, she has a brother?
Yeah, remember the helicopter pilot?
Oh, that's right. Okay.
That he became that half panther gargoyle, type thing, whatever. And then remember they cloned the gargoyles and they took them into they're basically the Morlocks from X-Men.
Pretty much. That's the funny.
Underground thing. But yeah, so I know it has something heavily to do with all of that, with the clones and that's like the first story that goes into. But they do a lot of like back story with the gargoyles and all that. And of course, a lot of rumors. I mean, they're bringing back X-Men. You know, they're filming that X-Men 97 or whatever.
Yeah.
So maybe there'll be hopes and they'll bring back a gargoyles. I mean, that would be.
Yeah, I want to see what's going to happen with X-Men. They already announced that Mr. Sinister is going to be in there.
He's going to be the main villain?
He's going to be the main villain, yeah.
Did they? Well, they didn't kill him off, did they?
I can't remember that far back. Actually, I still haven't binged watched it since.
That was the Savage Land season. That was like that annoying season that you only get a minute. The last 2 minutes of every episode was showing Magneto and Professor X
and
the Savage Land until finally the last 2 episodes of the season.
Yeah. I hate in the movies how they kept hinting Mr. Sinister and they never did anything. To it. Well, and they never did.
We'll have Secret Wars and
I don't know what's gonna happen with that. That's a whole nother conversation.
A whole other episode.
That's a whole other episode. All right, Jonathan Majors. I hope we get better news after today.
Yeah.
Don't mess up Marvel's plans.
So much deep fake needs to happen in these movies.
Yeah. What's gonna happen is they're gonna call Michael B. Jordan and they're gonna deep fake
Kangmonger
and
Kangmonger
AI technology for the voice, and that's it.
The Kangmonger is what they'll have.
Kangmonger, man. People are stupid.
Time to jump straight into the Fantastic Four and make Galactus the main villain ASAP.
Yeah, exactly.
Nah, I hope not. I mean, I hope this is one of those things that gets resolved. So we had good stuff, but we'll see. But yeah, so reminder, if you are in the Fort Lauderdale area of South Florida, Saturday, April 29th is the Fighter Fest. Season 5. We're going to have a market area. I can announce this now already. When this airs, we are going to have the Green Samurai Power Ranger, Hector. He's going to be with us over there making an appearance as well. We're going to have 8 tournaments, cash prizes, pop bonuses, sponsors, vendors. It's an all-day, all-night event over at the Urban League of Broward County Community Empowerment Center. It's going to be an awesome event. Fanatic Correct's all over this. It's Flynn's Arcade and More is presenting this. It is their 5th Fighter Fest, and we're happy to be involved with it and working on this to make it a really cool event and stuff like that. So we'll have videos and all kinds of stuff coming out of there. There's going to be a lot of Twitch streaming from the same night happening, as far as the Discord as well and all that, all the different tournaments and all the different fighting events. We're going to Smash Bros, Street Fighter 5, Guilty Gear. It's 8 games total, I believe. Yeah. Grand Blue, Tekken 7. It's going to be great stuff. So that's going to be a fun time building towards that. We'll have more episodes coming. We're trying to get back into the groove of this thing. We have some other things in the tank sitting back, so we can check that out. Stuff from the previous Sunrise Comic Con, some of our panels, stuff from the previous Sunrise Comic Con. Maybe we'll do
flashback.
We'll do a patronage, a Patreon, whatever.
A Patreon,
yeah. Pay $1 and you get a.
Yeah, I don't know who's gonna pay that.
All the lost episodes or something.
Our kid, Yopi's kids are gonna probably do that. I don't know who listens to this.
It'll be in the archive. Yeah. So, but thank you for joining us, and good night. This is Omega saying peace.
M.S.K, peace out.
And there you have it, folks. This has been Fanatically Correct. Until next time, you crazy kids. Signing off.